And these fields here are like the giant healing fields.
Notice how he proceeds to not shoot any of them.
And then like these cruise ships, your Railjack, even though it is like the equivalent of the Grenier cruise ship, you can't damage this at all. Like even if I use my Q and fire missiles, you can see like this does essentially nothing to this.
You're kidding, right? Alright, I'm going to react/analyze Brozime's Empyrean problems rant. The reason why I want to do this is that I don't. But the reason why I reckon this needs to be done is because, as you may see, this video has 3.2 thousand likes. Yet, of the 10 minutes that I have seen of it, 5 at the start, 5 somewhere in the middle, everything that he has said I either completely disagree with or is just straight up wrong. So let's give it the benefit of every doubt, and we will wash through it, and I will just talk about it as we continue. So, as I did with the IGN video, as I did with the GameStar video, as I did with Rahatalius's big thing, I will be stopping and starting and stopping and starting. If you don't like that, go and watch his video first. Do that. Okay? Okay, without further ado, let's get into it.
All right. Hello and welcome, everyone.
Right.
So today we are going to talk about Empyrean at large and mostly about Railjack. With that, Wreckage Repair, which is a way that you can progress, incentivizes you to not upgrade until you can get to Mark III items, which means you completely skip Mark I and Mark II, which means you don't get any upgrades until you are in the final area.
I don't even know what to say to this. I didn't do that at all. Like, what? So apparently he didn't build Mark I and Mark II things because he thinks he needs to save everything for Mark III. Look, I wonder if he's going to mention the fact that if you scrap anything, you get at least half of those rewards back. Half of those resources. Let's see if he says that.
Of Railjack, and this feels extremely pay to win with rush drones because the resource amounts that you're getting are just pitiful compared to the amounts needed to actually repair these items that you're getting at Mark III, which are the only things even arguably worth getting.
I get the feeling that he's putting a lot of stock on this idea that, oh, Mark IIIs are the only things worth getting, but that's inevitable. When you have a tiered weapon system like that, the highest tier weapons is inevitably going to be the only thing that you want. It makes no sense that you would want to, like, in any game, no matter how well it's been designed, surely, right? Am I going crazy? There's no way that you would ever want to use a Mark I of something rather in a marked system. So are we saying that the marked system, the tier system, is a terrible idea? That's potentially a good point to debate, but if we're just saying that, the fact that there's a Mark III means that we're never going to use Mark I and Mark II, well, no kidding. Like, that's inevitable.
And with all that, if you get all that stuff done, the Railjack itself is still not even worth piloting without multiple sub 2% drops that need to be maxed out with Dirac that you're earning in missions. And that also requires you to combine those less than 2% drops that are maxed out and in a max grid with Mark III gear to even get a functioning Railjack in the last area. Now, for that's a lot of...
Oh, also, I get the feeling that this guy is in a rush. I don't know why. The fact that right now Railjack is this thing that's supposed to exist for like 3, 4, or 5 weeks because DE's on holiday. This might be a terrible point that I'm making, but whatever. I haven't been in a rush at all. I've just been chilling, really. Brozime always likes to do these really hard grinds, so that's why he's now doing the hard, intrinsic grind. I don't know, maybe he's doing a hard Mark III gear grind. I don't know. I don't know.
Information. I'm going to show it off in game a little bit and talk about it. Because, the rolls on all of this fucking gear are random on if they are good or not. So even if it drops for you, it might be a piece of shit. But this shield is, as far as I can tell, the only good kind because it gives me bonus damage, which so...
The only reason why this thing is good is because it gives me damage. That's not... No. We're about to see a prime reason why this is a stupid thought process.
Fucking desperately need. Aside from that, I have an engine that is honestly mediocre, but it gives me a damage increase, so I guess that's fine.
No, it's not! Oh my god. It's not. Okay, here's the thing. I'm starting to see, and this is probably 100% wrong, but this is just my pure observation. I am seeing a one-to-one correlation between people who don't care about speed when they're building their Railjack and people who think that Empyrean is super duper boring. You talk to anyone who has a fast ship, and I don't know, like, of the few people I've talked to who seem to have a very fast ship, we appear to be enjoying ourselves. You talk to anyone who does not have a fast ship, 571 meters a second, apparently. That's well, it's a lot better than 300, but that's pitiful, you know? And look at that. They're having a hard time. A lot of people... I did a poll. Most people who answered those polls build for... Build for hull and armor. Very few people picked speed. Meanwhile, the main community concern is that the game is too boring and that there are problems. Yet here I am, enjoying myself, and here are quite a few people who have noted fast ships, good stuff, you're having fun. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. If you have a fast ship, are you enjoying yourself in Railjack? You tell me. If you have a slow ship, but a tanky ship, are you enjoying yourself in Railjack? I am starting to see a one-to-one correlation between the two. Anyway, let's move on.
And it's better than the Mark III that you can get from research.
Don't do this.
It's serviceable, at least. And then the most important part that everyone and their mom is complaining about right now is getting a reactor. Maxing out the less than 2% drop bulkhead to give myself at least some fucking health, and the less than 2% drop hyperstrike, which is absolutely 100% required.
Nope.
For your weapons to do anything to enemies, pretty much.
No, absolutely no. See, here's the thing. The first 5, or apparently 6 minutes of this video actually threw me off immediately. I actually stopped watching the first time I actually thought about watching this video. You do not necessarily need Zekti Hyperstrike. Sorry, Zetki. This entire time I thought it was called The entire time I thought it was called Zekti. Apparently it's called Zetki. So I'm dyslexic now. I don't know. You do not need Zetki Hyperstrike to be functional. This is not a 100% mandatory thing. I know this because I don't use Zetki Hyperstrike. I don't have it.
If you want your Railjack to even be able to scratch enemies, you need this, and you need it maxed out. And also, you need it on a maxed out grid point so it has 3 extra fucking ranks.
That is all nonsense. Sorry, that is all exaggerated nonsense.
Additionally, I have a hull weave. This isn't the best one you can get, but it's pretty good, and it's what I can afford to put in here with the avionics, and it's maxed out. I have a polar coil. This is the strong...
Okay, pro tip. You should look at... pro tip, Brozime. Consider using wing steel. It gives way more than hull weave at the moment. In fact, if I just do a bit of quick research... Hull Weave. So right now he's using the Vidar one, so that gives plus 216. If he uses the Zetki one at max strain, that gives up to 253. But if he decides to use Wing Steel, where's Wing Steel? A 9 drain, but with his 3 drain. A 9 drain, but with his 3 upgraded node. We'll give him 315. So if he gets a Zetki, Wing Steel, which hashtag real talk, I've got like plenty, so it shouldn't be terribly difficult for him to get one. I mean, I'm guessing he already has one. At the moment, for some reason, all of the winged avionics affect the Railjack, so use that. Use Wing Steel if you want to increase your armor. That's why the armor of my ship is currently sitting at about 3,000. 3,600 or something like that. Anyway, let's continue.
Longest one you can get. This makes it so thank God my weapons don't overheat as fast, even though they still overheat really fucking quickly, even with this maxed out.
Well, if he's talking about his Photor, it's a Zetki Photor. That stuff overheats like a bitch. Everyone knows that. If he's talking about his Cryophon, that's weird.
And then for more damage, I have a section density, which is turret critical damage, and then a predator, which is turret critical chance. So these two abilities that I have the particle ram, which is maxed out. I have the seeker volley, which is maxed out. This fires 50 homing missiles, and by God, you wish it did any fucking damage. It doesn't kill anything past Earth, so there's that. And that's a problem we're going to get back to in a moment.
Pro tip. Whoa, crap. Pro tip. What are we up to? Like, yeah. Pro tip. If you're going to use Seeker Volley, you should probably install Warhead. Warhead increases the damage of Seeker Volley. Okay, if he gets rid of Heat Sink, which I think is worthless, he has 8 avionics capacity left. Warhead, you could probably fit a full Lavan one, so that would be the best he could probably do at the moment. Of course, everything gets a lot better, obviously, if you happen to have a much better Vidar reactor. So his being plus 73 is sort of mid-tier. But, you know, I agree with the whole notion that the RNG part of the reactor is a bit too far wide. So in that video, today's video, I don't know when I'm uploading this thing, but in yesterday's video, I said maybe, actually definitely, the ranges should be narrowed down to 10. So the Vidar reactor should only be from 90 to 100. So assuming DE decides to listen to me and actually do that, then his being a bit of a mid-tier one, I would probably guess they would take it proportion-wise and give him a 94. Then he would have plenty of space to fit all sorts of other things, including some goddamn tacticals for a change. You know? He's not using us. See, okay. So here's the thing. I'm not entirely sure how valid one's criticism of the fun aspect of the mode should be when they don't have any tacticals. That's just what I think. Of course, the fun would probably be tied to the RNG, so you could argue that yes, well, the reason why he doesn't have any tacticals is, or rather, the reason why he is not using any tacticals is because he has shit RNG, and okay. Sure. But at that point, then, I don't know, don't say anything until you have a full idea of the mode. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on.
Which is maxed out. I have the Seeker Volley, which is maxed out. This fires 50 homing missiles, and by God, you wish it did any fucking damage. It doesn't kill anything past Earth, so there's that. And that's a problem we're going to get back to in a moment. I have done the work. Also, this is the payload menu where you can recharge your shit, and I'm at 9s in all of my intrinsics.
Okay. So maybe Brozime has the absolute worst luck in the history of mankind, but seriously, he has apparently played way more than me. 9999 intrinsics. I'm only, what, 8788? How does he not have Void Hole? That's my question. Now, is it because his farming is just... No, well, sorry, is it because his luck is just terrible? Or has he actually not been farming for it? Because in the next video, he will be talking about the intrinsic farm. And I'm assuming, nay, I'm guessing that he has been doing the intrinsic farm for a while before he has started talking about it. Because I would assume that he would do something a lot before he would try and talk about it. So what that says... So assuming that it's true, that means he has not been doing regular missions. Now, here's the thing. Some people have asked me, like, how long it took for me to get Void Hole. How long did I farm to get Void Hole? And honestly, I'm not entirely sure if I even farmed it anymore. I mean, I kind of just played for a few hours, for a few days, and then just lo and behold, it showed up. And now, I have a spare. So I have a spare, but Brozime's luck is apparently so bad that he has none. I don't know. I don't know. Also, Brozime, if you're watching this, I am more than happy to give you my spare, because I think something like Void Hole will massively improve your experience in the game, which is actually more a damning indictment of Seeker Missile than anything that you have said so far. Because you're not using Warhead, first off. Seriously, if you get Void Hole, I think you're going to have a much better time. You might still have problems, but you'll probably have a much better time. Anyway, let's continue.
So it's not like I don't have the bonuses that these yield. And keep in mind for something we're about to discuss, which is how Arcwing is handled in this, that I have all of the rank 8 bonuses boosting up my Arcwing, including like just general plus 25% damage and shit. Early on, your Arcwing is your only fucking choice because your Railjack is so completely shit not worth it that you kind of must have a maxed out Arcwing to even start progressing. And for most of the missions that are in Railjack, you're just going to be flying out in a squad of 4 in your Arcwings and then just like ramming your face into the enemy and holding down the fire trigger until hopefully they die. And it's...
That's not even close to my experience, but... what? Okay. I started Railjack in the Railjack. I've only jumped out into my Arcwing and do Arcwing things like 3 times. I have not bothered with using the Arcwing since, because, as I think Brozime has already mentioned, they get destroyed by enemies, specifically cruise ships. Their guns do 95% less damage. I don't actually bother with I don't bother with Arcwings. I fully disagree with this notion that when you start Railjack, you don't want to use your Railjack because your Railjack is shit. No, that's not true. So, whatever.
It's not good. With that, Railjack missions. It is literally and actually just the exact same mission 25 times with different numbers on it. And that is all that you get. And all of these missions that they've put in here are just the same mission. They're all just exterminates. That's it. That's the...
Okay. The reason why I disagree with the idea that they're all just exterminates is a bad thing is because if you look at all of the Arcwing missions that exist right now, which ones do you enjoy? Arcwing Mobile Defense? Not really. Arcwing Pursuit? Not really. Arcwing... What's the other one? Rush? No, everyone hated Rush. I still don't particularly like Arcwing Rush. Mainly because it's, what do you call it? Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. Trench run. Mainly because it's a trench run. There used to be an Arcwing extermination mission on, I believe it was Saturn, before it was changed to Arcwing Pursuit. And it was like a sort of mid-level open space Arcwing extermination mission. That was the only good Arcwing mission, in my opinion. It was the only one that I actually found any enjoyment in whatsoever. Because it was open space, because it was extermination. So to me, I have no problem with every single Railjack mission being some form of extermination plus some other stuff. If the other stuff were to come with more variety, then yes, that would be very, very good. And that would be the argument that I would make. There needs to be more extra things. Every mission should straight up have extra things. Except for maybe like one mission where it could just be a straight extermination. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, so I have no problem with this.
The whole thing of Railjack is there. It's just all the exact same missions. And honestly, I'd be okay with 25 of the exact same mission with minor differences if it was enjoyable. But it's balanced so poorly and so like wildly unacceptably. Like the gear that I have currently, this like maxed out Mark III, amazing intrinsics, like the best avionics I can acquire and equip.
Sorry.
All that stuff that I've gotten from getting to Veil Proxima feels like the level of power I should be at, like leaving Earth. And it's just unacceptable for it to be balanced that way. It's just not balanced for anyone to have a good time at all.
Because apparently he wants to one-shot everything.
Like the end game strength of your Railjack feels like what you should have like after a few missions of collecting avionics on Earth. Like that's what it feels like. And then like whenever you get Mark II weapons on Saturn, those Mark II weapons should be able to like easily deal with the enemies that you're going to be encountering in the Veil. And the Mark III weapons from the Veil should be like really strong and feel great in the Veil. Like that's your rewards that you're getting.
Hold on. Mark II weapons should easily deal with enemies in the Veil. Is that what he says? Is that what he just said?
Those Mark II weapons should be able to like easily deal with the enemies that you're going to be encountering in the.
What's the point of having Mark III weapons then if your Mark II weapons easily deal with enemies in the Veil? And then what? Mark III weapons are just great to use. What does that mean?
Veil. And the Mark III weapons from the Veil should be like really strong and feel great in the Veil. Like that's your rewards that you're getting in the Veil, and they don't feel adequate for the content you needed to do to get them. It is wildly baffling that DE could have played this and enjoyed themselves, because it's just a slog. It's just.
I'm enjoying myself.
It's just a slog. Now, before we show off any Arcwing stuff, I'm going to talk about like the good stuff in Arcwing so far, that's a whole nother issue that they would ship a thing with no UI to tell you what anything does, and it is really unfortunate. Anyway, though,
that's true.
I'm gonna show off like just like this is like maxed out Arcwing shit. Like this is.
Hang on. One thing I definitely think the DE completely screwed up on is this idea that if you use radiation damage, it turns into nothing. You don't get any extra status procs from having actual radiation. I don't think that's a good idea at all. So let's have a look at what he's got. He's got Impact Puncher / Cold. So basically he has Particle Ballistic Plasma Frost. Which means every time he shoots a ship, especially with that high slash damage, high-ish slash damage, the ship is going to receive increased damage. So basically, he's going to weaken that ship, number one. He's most likely also going to concuss the ship so that gunship is not going to be able to shoot properly. Like, it'll miss more, which I guess is okay. That's, I guess, useful. But more importantly, he also has puncture damage, and that in a shotgun is going to be... It is a shotgun type weapon, yes? I've never used the Singer, so I don't know. But he has decompress, or plasma. That's essentially armor reduction. He's going to strip armor crate really, really well with that weapon, with that 100% status shot, so that's going to be really, really good. And he has frost, so I guess at some point, whatever he shoots is going to slow down. That's it. Great. Good stuff.
I'm gonna show off like just like this is like maxed out Arcwing shit. Like this is the Amisha build I'm running. Like I've got.
I mean, honestly, like yes, I read it from the wiki, but I remember like plasma. It's the only one I feel like I need to remember because my Karkonox is so good. Anyway, moving on.
Max efficiency, my abilities cost minimum possible, like all that kind of stuff. I don't have Prime Morphic Transformer on here because like. And also, I'm just going to show the main strategy for Railjack in general, and that is to get in the pilot seat at the beginning of a mission and then back the fuck up as far as you can so enemies can't attack your Railjack and kill it while you go out in your Arcwing. This is the main strategy that pretty much everybody has to employ early on.
No.
And also later, if you're going to solo, is you just get in the pilot seat of your Railjack and back up as far as you can, and get really, really...
Okay, listen, I have never done this before in my entire experience of Railjack. Not once. I don't even have a tanky ship. He's built for Zetki. He's built for Zetki Bulkhead, and he's telling me that the main strategy is to just back the hell up. No, what? What? No. Why do you even have particle ram there? Why do you even bother? What are you doing?
Far away, so that
you're
the
complaining
don't
about all
come
this
and
stuff,
kill
and you're
your
not even
Railjack
using
and fail you the
like.
mission.
You're telling.
Yeah, that.
You're complaining about the fact that Railjack is bad, and you're telling me right now your main strategy is to not even participate in like 50% of that entire mode. Are you kidding?
That is the way this is being played.
That is not the way this is being played.
Unfortunately. And we are going to show off like some of like the actual like Railjack's damage out here, because it's slightly better than my Arcwing now that I have it completely maxed out, but it's not great. And keep in mind, this is like one of the two like halfway decent, like okay-ish weapons that I've used here.
Okay, here's the thing. Clearly the Singus is actually a lot better than the Karkonox. So his Singus, the way he's modded it right now, is killing these fighters a lot faster than my Karkonox would. Okay, so number one. But look at how long he's taking just to kill 10. 10. You can wipe out 10 with a void hole easy. And, you know, other things. You actually just... Anyway, let's move on.
With a completely maxed out build. If
So
you try and use...
Point is, this is the reason why I don't do this.
something like the Grattler, it is sad. It is depressing how little damage it does. The Grattler might as well not damage these enemies. It's also worth noting that enemies in this area can put down a giant healing field that constantly heals their allies. And that will make it take even longer to kill each of these enemies. Yeah, this is the Arcwing gameplay.
I'm really hoping he mentions this, but you can actually shoot the healing fields and make them blow up. It's kind of like nullifier bubbles. You shoot the nullifier bubble, it explodes. So obviously it's not that conducive when you're using a slow weapon like a Cryophon. But if you happen to be using a Karkonox, then everything's fine. Personally, I don't like them either. I don't like those healing fields either. I think they're a bit crap. But I'm really hoping he mentions that. Because if he doesn't...
And keep in mind, your like bullets have travel time now, because they made it so that everything has travel time here. So if I just let this guy go like actually full speed, you're gonna have to lead pretty significantly, or you're not gonna hit the enemy, which leads to you missing a whole lot, which leads to you having to use even more magazines of bullets to kill the enemies in this area and others. Oh, and this enemy is immune to status. So 1 second.
What
Okay,
the hell?
there's that.
Wait, why? Why did Singers kill all those fighters? Well, why did Singers kill each single fighter a lot faster than my Karkanos? But he struggled so hard on that goddamn turret. How did that happen? I don't know.
So there's that. I think that tiny group, by the way, 20 out of 90, that took, the timer's wrong, but that took an amount of time. Here, I'll just put it on screen. I'll put the timer in post. That's how long it took just to kill 20 fighters, and because the fighters are, like, really
Dude, you forgot your timer.
stupid and sometimes, like, go off and kill themselves, that might not even have actually been...
I'll do the timer.
Group, by the way, 20...
So we're at 20:45. When he shot out of his slingshot, he began...
and maxed out and all that shit.
He started attacking here. 1852, 2045. 2 minutes. Almost 2 minutes. That took him almost 2 minutes to kill 20 fighters. Void Hole, you can kill 20 fighters in about 20 seconds.
I think that tiny group, by the way, 20 out of 90, that took, the timer's wrong, but that took an amount of time. Here, I'll just put it on screen. I'll put the timer in post. That's how long it took just to kill 20 fighters, and because the fighters are, like, really stupid and sometimes, like, go off and kill them.
Oh, before anyone mentions it, yes, I know. I am talking a lot about Void Hole because Void Hole is super good. And yes, I do find myself extremely reliant on Void Hole and Munitions Vortex as well. So, yes, I am reliant on those things. Okay? Because they're really good. The point is, we right now are watching a guy who's complaining about things taking too long, but I think his experience of all of that could very well be made a lot better if he had the thing that I am relying on quite a lot. I love using Void Hole. It is fantastic. He doesn't have Void Hole, so he is apparently having a terrible time.
Themselves, that might not even have actually been me killing 20 of them. So that's how this feels to do Arcwing in Railjack, and it's not good. And you know what? We're actually just going to teleport back, and I'm going to bring the Railjack out here to fight some of these other enemies, so you can get a feel for how it is with, like, a completely maxed out Railjack.
Enemy cruise ship has punched in.
And I do want to express that this Railjack is, like, pretty much as strong as it's going to get. Like, I have all the maneuverability mods. Like, I'm going to turn on this...
Like, I have all the maneuverability mods. Okay, that's entirely false. We're at 2133. He has conic nozzle. That's it. Where's Iron Burn? Wing Cyclone? You only have one of the maneuverability mods. And it's just a straight speed one. You don't have all of the maneuverability mods because, among other things, you also don't have a fast engine. Your engine is crap. I'm sorry, but okay, moving on.
It's, like, pretty much as strong as it's gonna get. So I have all the maneuverability mods. Like,
it's also not as strong as it's gonna get because, you know, his reactor is not the best, and he doesn't have Void Hole, and he's only using Seeker Volley. Without using and he's also using Seeker Volley without using Warhead. Also, you're missing a battle avionic and you're not using a single tactical avionic whatsoever.
I'm going to turn on this, like, giant particle ram that I have, which is going to do a little bit of damage to enemies in front.
Are you kidding? 1,500 damage. It does quite a lot of damage. Thank you. And it's AoE.
Like, I'm going to be doing it up as pretty much as it can be done. Like, here's...
I'm sorry, hold on. What? Oh, I'm going to use particle realm. It's only going to use a bit of damage. How is it that we live in a dichotomy where we have Brozime here who's saying the particle realm does no damage, yet we have other people on Reddit who are like, you know, what I like to do is I just like to park my ship inside a rock, and enemy fighters actually going kamikaze because of the particle realm. It's so good. Like,
Here's a great example. This is a maxed out missile barrage ability.
again, he's not using he's not using Warhead, so it's not maxed out.
basically. That's the minuscule nothing damage that we just did.
Incoming.
Correct, because Seeker Volley is actually not particularly good in late game. Even with Warhead, it's not like it won't one shot anything. So if you're looking for it to one shot just like 50 fighters, yeah, that's not gonna happen. But actually, what happened to his Seeker Volley? I think it's supposed to shoot 50 missiles, and what did most of them miss something as well? I don't know.
These like maxed out Creotra that are rolled with like a really high damage bonus, and I have all the best avionics. The little baby bitch fighters take 2 shots, and this is like a close range only thing. So like I basically have to just hope to God that I
Okay, he's complaining that his Cryophin is 2-shotting fighters. That's a lot faster than my Karkanox. And he's the one who's complaining.
Because if I don't crit, I pretty much I can't one shot these enemies. And you can see that I have to be really close. Because like that shot did no damage because I was just slightly far away. These are shotguns on the like this like giant Railjack ship that I'm using has this much trouble with like just regular sized fighters.
Pro tip, don't shoot an Outrider with your goddamn guns. Use your Tycho Seeker. Tycho Seekers, even without Warhead, Tycho Seeker Mark III without a Warhead, straight up one-shots those Outriders. Those Outriders are meant to be particularly tanky because they have these little points that are like weak spots. We just saw him not shoot that. How does he not know this?
Has this much trouble.
He's just shooting at like a normal spot. See this red thing right here? Shoot that. See that red thing right there? Shoot that. If you're going to use your guns, shoot those. Shoot that red thing there, shoot that red thing there, you gotta blow it up. Easy. Or even better, just shoot a missile at it. Because it one-shots.
Trouble with like just regular.
Or if you have Munitions Vortex, just shoot a Munitions Vortex. That will also blow it up. Essentially, AoE damage completely wastes Outriders. 100%. And everything else as well.
Size fighter. Killing that enemy overheated my shotguns, even though I had them like just right there in front of me to be shot. And like the enemies are like so much more maneuverable than your ship is, and this is with 9 piloting. Like it's not like I'm missing some extra mechanic or something like that. And these fields here are like the giant healing fields.
Notice how he proceeds to not shoot any of them.
And then like these cruise ships, your Railjack, even though it is like the equivalent of the Grenier cruise ship, you can't damage this at all. Like even if I use my Q and fire missiles, you can see like this does essentially nothing to this.
Okay, I've seen this a couple of times, and every single time it gets me, it makes me laugh. You're shooting a Cryophin at a cruise ship. Are you serious? You're kidding, right? You're joking, right? Oh, I shot this Cryophin at a cruise ship and it does no damage. What else did he say?
And it is just absolutely pitiful and useless. And also, the big bottom, like, giant cannon that's on the bottom of your Railjack, even that doesn't do really any damage to these cruise ships at this level. It just, like, falls off and becomes completely useless. Like, the stuff that they showed off where that big cannon kills cruise ships on dev streams and stuff, that just doesn't work. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. You mean to tell me that you've played... You mean to tell me you've played this mode for how long? You mean to tell me you've done all the work and you don't know... First off, you so far, and I'm probably wrong, but you so far not demonstrated that you know about shooting those healing bubbles. Number one. Secondly, you shot a Cryophin at a friggin' cruise ship. Why? What were you expecting? Number one, you shot a friggin' Tycho Seeker at a cruise ship. What were you expecting? Oh, the Cryophin should be able to one-shot the cruise ship. Is that what you're trying to say? Are you serious? Really? Oh my god. And also, you telling me you've put in all the work and you don't... Hang on, do you even know what a Karkanox is?
I'm assuming you know what a Karkanox is. Because a Karkanox, particularly one that's rolled with high status chance, happens to be really, really good at stripping armor. I literally uploaded this video yesterday. Today? Today. This morning. For someone else. But I will show it, but I will literally play it right now. Whoops. Because the simple fact that you're saying, oh no, it's no good, the laser is no good. Well, no kidding. You're Brozime. You're the guy who I learned about armor scaling from. You should know this. Strip their armor, then blow them up. Okay, in this case, I'm missing most of the time, so that's obviously why I'm doing pretty badly. As you can see, my Karkanoxes are not doing a lot of damage, actually. So his Cryophan is actually a lot more effective at killing fighters, for example, than mine. Than my weapon. Now, I am also shooting my normal weapon at my... at a cruise ship. But there is a reason. You see right above that cruise ship, the first thing next to that cruise ship name happens to be... Well, apparently it's supposed to be a plasma particle thing. Anyway... The UI is bugged. Point is, you shoot that a couple of times, and then guess what? This is a level 43 cruise ship. Get ready. Boom, 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 bam. Done. It's that simple. Also, another thing. We're at 24-27. There's an avionic called forward artillery. It increases the power of your artillery cannon. He's not using it. If you're telling me that... If you're complaining that your artillery cannon does no damage because you're firing it against heavily armored ships and you're not even increasing its damage... You tell me why that's not a good idea. You tell me why it's not doing enough damage. What were we up to? 23 something rather?
Overheat and all that kind of shit. And it's bad. Like this is with the like best shit that I can get. And like the enemy is completely useless. Like the stuff that they showed off where that big cannon kills cruise ships on dev streams and stuff, that just doesn't work in the higher.
It does. But you actually need to think a little further than just, fire laser cannon.
Levels of gameplay. Like, it just stops functioning and stops being...
Okay. I should also mention, the Karkanox, the reason why is because that... What is it? Particle? Plasma. Plasma. I want to say plasma. I'm probably wrong. Oh, here we go. It's plasma. Plasma damage, i.e., if your weapon, if you want to do this with an arc wing, with the arc gun, get an arc gun that has really high puncture damage, because then you take it into friggin' space, and suddenly it actually strips armor and shields actually in a really, really good way. It's that simple. Karkanox. Get yourself a Karkanox. Try and get yourself a Karkanox with really high status chance. Get yourself a Karkanox. Moving on.
What it was like supposed to be. Like it just like look at this enemy. That's a regular enemy and it takes so many shots. And this is with as good as the gear is gonna get. Like it doesn't go above this unless maybe there's a Cryophan that I can like roll that has plus 300% damage. I don't know. I don't know what the limit is.
Oh my god, that's another thing I just remembered. I don't know, I feel like Brozime's building and philosophy in WarFrame is just extremely narrow-minded. All he seems to care about is health and damage. You look back to his engine. I get the feeling that he scrapped a lot of engines, but he's kept this engine that he's using right now, this slow as crap engine, because it gives extra damage. He rolls his Cryophan. He only wants to roll his Cryo for extra damage. No wonder he's struggling against a cruise ship. Also, if you don't have the weapons to fight a cruise ship, board the damn thing. It's simple.
Like how strong my Cryophan can get, and like That's just how it is. Like, there's enemies on my ship while I'm explaining this.
Oh, you also have to pay attention. Pay attention. Also, again, he's not shooting any of the healing bubbles. You will find very quickly, if you're overrun with healing bubbles, you will have a much harder time killing anything. So you need to pay attention to that as well. Again, I don't like those healing bubbles at all. I think they're not particularly good. I think they're a bad design. But until they get fixed, you need to pay attention to them. That's just a thing.
But yeah, like, I'm in, like, catastrophic failure and, like, stuff like that. And, like, obviously you'd have a crew normally, like, just to show off, like, the damage stuff. It's...
Wait, I'm sorry. Is he suggesting that... Is he insinuating that, oh no, my ship's on fire, but if I had a crew, everything will be fine? No, if you paid attention at all, you would be fine. I'm really hoping that when he's not making a video whilst doing his solo plays, he can keep up with all of this stuff. I'm really hoping this is the case. In fact, I'm expecting this is the case.
Pitiful. It's pitiful and it's sad. And it's just not fun to do. Like, there is currently a thing that you can do, which is what I really would advise everyone to do, which is where you just equip Rhino and you use Rhino's 3 to buff yourself and then pilot the Railjack so you get over 300% damage, because that interaction does work with the turrets on your Railjack. Just to make your Railjack kind of do any damage at all, you kind of need to be Rhino with a buffer build. And
I don't use Rhino and I'm fine. But yes, if you wanna do a lot more damage, use Rhino. Apparently that is a hilarious thing that happens.
That's, like, clearly not the intention of DE to have that buff work on your Railjack, but it says to me that, like, the damage your Railjack does whenever it's at the level mine is needs to be jacked way up. Like, it needs to be multiplied by, like, 4, by, like, 5. Something's got to give, and this shit needs to be way better than it is.
Okay, look, I completely agree with the notion that Railjack damage should be increased because that's going to be good, but does it need to be increased? I don't know.
Because it's just unsatisfying and not good. And on, like, a completely different note, we're going to take this ship and show it off on Earth. But yeah, like, so now I have this, like, particle ram that I've maxed out and all this stuff, and now whenever I ram into enemies, they, like, actually explode and die, which is, like, a really novel concept to have this big, giant energy thing that I, like, worked on and maxed out and spent a bunch of Dirac on, like, it actually killing enemies, wild style, right? Like, this thing that I put into, this, like...
Wait, I'm sorry, this is what you want to do in the Veil? Are you serious? Oh my god. I don't even know what to say. So you're telling me that the very notion that the particle ram doesn't one-shot enemies in the Veil is not good. I'll have you know right now, the particle ram has a very useful, constant effect in the Veil. It does quite a bit of damage. And when you pair it up, well, you don't even have to pair it up with anything. In the Veil, we still have fighters just kamikaze straight into it. Because fighter AI is a little bit dumb. They still blow themselves up. The particle ram in the Veil is very useful. What is kind of being inferred here, right now, by him demonstrating the particle ram on Earth, is that the particle ram is completely useless in the Veil. I completely disagree with that.
Drifting ability that I have that lets me, like, boost forward and kill a bunch of things with the ram. Like, this stuff feels cool because, like, the abilities are working. Like, they're doing what they're supposed to do. Like, these enemies over here, they're doing what they're supposed to do.
What, some damage? Not everything needs to one-shot. Jesus Christ.
Fucking take this, get a line on these dudes, and fire hella missiles, and, like, these enemies are gonna die from this, right? Like, that's what you want, right? Once you've maxed out this ability, it's gonna do significant damage to maybe the slightly tougher enemies, so then you're gonna be able to, like, ram them and kill them, and you're gonna be able to kill the enemies.
Oh dear Christ, did you just do that again? shot a missile at a goddamn cruise ship again. Oh my god. Okay, pro tip. Bullets don't kill a cruise ship. Even if you actually reduce the health of a cruise ship all the way down to 0 with your bullets, and that includes your cryphon, even if you do that, it won't explode. It will just stop. I get the feeling this is the same with missiles, with your Psycho Seeker as well. I'm pretty sure. Okay, no, I'm not pretty sure. I'm about 50% sure. If you if you bring a cruise ship health from 100 to 0, 100% to 0%, even and finish it off with a missile, with your ordnance, you still don't kill the cruise ship. It just stops. And then the crew, I guess, is inferred to be fixing the ship. So, what he just did there is completely and utterly pointless. Unless he is looking to reduce the health of that cruise ship by at least a bit, so that his artillery cannon can then finish it off.
And like for cruise ships, sure, you don't need to be able to kill cruise ships with just like your regular weapons, but at this level, this giant gun down here can be used, or your like teammates can board it. Or I can't do it because you usually need teamwork to kill the cruise ships, and I'm totally fine with that. But
Karkanox.
for like the regular enemies and how I'm dealing.
Sorry. Oh, you need teamwork to do that. One sec. How did I do it again? Where is it? Here we go. Ignore that. It's just me. This isn't a veil. It's just me. It's just me. I shouldn't have looked. Whatever. So, you know. Anyway, moving on.
Dealing with them, like this should really be the way it is. Like with the like quality of the gear I have, and like the effort that I went in that went into like making it this way. These like regular just enemies should die like this. Like I should be able to like turn and be like, ah yes, more fighters, fucking get the missiles ready and fuck them up. Like firing all these missiles out, just like watching all these dudes explode and like feeling like my gear is doing its stuff. The problem is it should feel like this at like the amount of work that I have put into this system. It should feel like this in the Veil. Because this is enjoyable for me, like being like, haha, my maxed out gear, just ram through all these dudes and kill them all. And
okay, again, he didn't use Warhead, number one. Number two, ironically enough, I don't like the Seeker Volley killing everything in one go for one very specific reason. It spreads all of the resources out. I'm surprised he hasn't talked about the vacuum yet, but the vacuum for Railjack should be expanded, if not just be infinite range. I really think the vacuum of the Railjack should be infinite range, because when you kill a lot of enemies in that kind of spread out fashion using Seeker Volley, you then tend to find that you forget where all of the resources are from all of those dead ships. So again, Void Hole is king.
like the amounts of enemies that you need to kill, like it being like 60 or 90 or what have you, in these areas is totally fine whenever you can just chew through them, and then you can rely on your allies to like board cruise ships and take those out and do side objectives and like still have someone on repairs, because I think the enemy damage output is fine. Obviously it's low. Like the enemy damage output for how well that they can take you down whenever you're upgraded is like pretty reasonable across all the areas. I think like the survivability of your Railjack once you have these upgrades, I think is fine.
The survivability of your Railjack is so fine to the point where I would even argue you don't actually need Z-Key Bulkhead. I really don't think you need that. So, take the amount of avionics drain that you have been using on Z-Key Bulkhead, reduce it by about 12? Reduce it by about 12, I believe. Hold on, one sec. Where is it? Yeah, reduces by about 12. Yeah, 12 to the 11 bulkhead that I'm using right now. Get rid of heatsink and try using Warhead. I think you're going to have a better time with your Seeker Volley first off. You still won't be able to one-shot enemies in the Veil with your Seeker Volley. But 2 Seeker Volleys, you should be able to kill a lot of things. That's my suggestion to you.
But it's just your damage output like just doesn't feel right. Because like it just needs to be buffed massively. Like these maxed out abilities that I'm using to kill like these swarms of enemies, it just needs to be changed. Because it can be enjoyable. Like the mechanics are here for me to have a good time. Like whenever I have this like piloting stuff leveled up and all that, like I have like the dodge in the ship, and like I can do like the drifting thing and do a boost, like just do this and go nice and fast and like get what I want and like be able to
Fast? Question mark?
like do circle strafing on enemies and shit, and like I can do all the stuff and it's enjoyable. The controls are good. The way the guns fire is honestly like totally fine. Like I enjoy this. The only thing I would want to add to like the way the guns work on the front of the ship is like maybe I can hold a button to be able to like get like disjoint turning and aiming from one another, where like I could hit C or whatever and then just aim the guns and keep my ship like exactly where it is. Like that might be cool.
Actually, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But like this stuff is all doable. Like very clearly like the people who designed like how these abilities look and like just like the UI is like pretty nice and clean here in general, and like everything.
The UI is missing a few bits. I would really like to see like a list of friends first off, list of allies, so I know who's on the ship. Because right now, in order to see who's on the ship, you have to jump out of the pilot's seat, so that's a bit annoying.
Looks so cool. It's just that the numbers really aren't there to back it up. Like plain and simple. Because like,
well, I mean, to talk about something that you've said before in previous videos, if the numbers aren't stacking up, then everything's fine, because it's just a numbers thing. He just needs to do a numbers pass. That's a lot easier than doing a straight design pass. So, if that is the overall conclusion,
on Earth, I can have like all this stuff, and it's just a good time. And like you can get into this and like aim at one of these dudes, fire yourself onto one of these cruise ships to board them. Like this kind of stuff right here. Like
okay, production note. I don't know if you know about this, Brozime. But you should consider rendering your videos in 440p. 1440p, not 440p, what the hell. You should consider rendering your videos in 1440p because YouTube's player is really bad. Notice how right now everything is blotchy as all hell, despite the fact that I am guessing you rendered out your video in proper 1080p settings with the correct bitrate for YouTube 1080p. But YouTube's player is so hilariously bad that if you have any moving parts, it'll create this really horrible blotchy effect. I'm playing this right now at 1080p 60, but as you can see, it looks horrible. Try rendering it out in 1440p. Even if you only capture your video in 1080p, render it out in 1440p after you finish editing your video. That will make things look a lot better, okay? So that's a production tip right there.
Oops. This feels good.
I do it. Tactical Potato does it as well.
Like boarding a ship, like the balance of like boarding a ship.
Good, he actually boarded a ship.
You get on the ship, and then there's like the reactor. Take your weapon and like destroy this. Like.
Oh, okay, never mind. His Artemis bonus only level 10. Okay, fair enough.
That blows up, and then this ship is on meltdown. Use the
pro tip: if you happen to have an Artemis bow that is fully maxed out, it'll one-shot a thing. It'll one-shot the core, even in the Veil.
You need to teleport back to your ship, get back on the guns. There's a whole good loop here with how this stuff can feel. For that, I have spent all of this, so it's 6,000 titanium, and like 5,000 diodes, 300 astrites.
Okay, I know exactly what he's going to say, and I 100% agree. The crafting requirements for wreckage and all that stuff is simply too high. I 100% agree with that.
7 null stones. That stuff, I spent that on this. And also, I spent the 6,000 titanium and like these other materials here.
Hang on, is he going to list? Is he going to just list all the stuff that he's built? I don't want to sit through that. I'm sorry, I don't want to sit through that.
All I was able to make was the 2 Mark IIIs. I don't have enough to make any more of those weapons. And if we look at the repair costs for this stuff, just this weapon alone, this Vidar.
Yeah, agreed.
Done. This is not. I've broken down all those, but they also cost like a fuckzillion titanium and that stuff. And the Mark IIIs that you can research and build are actually the cheapest.
Cheapest because they're mass produced.
These amounts lead us to rush repair drones. What's a rush repair drone? It's 50 platinum. 50 platinum, and it not only skips the 12-hour wait time for you to repair these items, it also replaces all these fucking materials that you would need to spend to start the repair. Like, the difference between those two things is large. And like they're just randomly rolled. So if you want to get these, like if you suddenly get a better one, it's like another bajillion resources, another 20 hours of your time. That's absurd. I honestly believe that like repairing shouldn't even be a thing if we're gonna have these like randomized stats, because these items are rarity as it is.
Oh no, I don't think he knows that when you scrap something, you get 50% of the resources back. Listen. Zekti Apoc Mark III, Zekti Pulsar Mark III. I don't know why you're holding on to these. They're terrible. They're Zetki weapons. They're terrible. I wouldn't hold on to them. I don't think you should hold on to them. I don't know why you're... Wait, you have a You have a Karkanox Mark III. Why aren't you using it? Use that. Put it on your main, or put it on your turret, on your guns, sight guns. Use that. Jesus Christ. Try scrapping the 2 Zetki weapons that you have right now. See what resources you get from that. You get a lot of resources. Yes, the resource grind is huge. I 100% agree. The resource grind is huge. It should be nerfed. 100%. But you cannot make this argument without recognizing, like you cannot make this point without recognizing that if you scrap things, you do get half of that stuff back. So at that point, when you get your... So yes, the grind to get your first weapon is massive, 100%. But the grind to get your second weapon, or at least... No, the grind to get your first 2 weapons is massive, because you don't really want to scrap your first weapon for your second weapon, because you need 2 weapons. But the grind to get your... any weapon afterwards. If you roll a Zetki... why do I keep calling him Zetki? Sorry, if you roll a Zetki Apoc Mark III... I don't know why you want to use it, but okay, let's say you want to use it. And then, like you just said, you get a Zetki Apoc Mark III that is a lot better. The grind to get the better weapon is not massive. The grind to get the better weapon is massive divided by 2. Which could be still large. Okay, it could still be 6,000 titanium, which could still take quite a while. Not 20 hours. I don't think it would take 20 hours. But you would not keep the old weapon. So, are you keeping this old Zetki Apoc Mark III for no reason? Because you're not using it. If you're not using it because you have tried it out and you have determined that it is not good, scrap it. You get half the resources back. You mean to tell me you've played this for so long and you don't know this? I don't know.
And they have random bullshit on them as well. And this repair shit is just a giant barrier to like Railjack even being playable for a lot of people. Because if you're not going to use rush repair drones to get like your Vidar reactor and stuff, and like Mark III weapons. Also, I do have a problem. Oh, it did the bug for 1 second.
Oh yeah, that
clicked
bug.
on this, then didn't double click on this. That's a minor bug. That's like kind of whatever. There we go. I re-equipped everything.
That just needs to get hot fixed.
The other thing is that, like, this hyperstrike is literally required for you to be able to really get anything done anywhere.
Okay, at risk of sounding like an orange man in the White House, wrong.
And it has a less than 2% drop rate. And that fucking sucks. It really just fucking sucks.
Yes and no. In general, yes. But in this case, no. Like, and I say that specifically because you don't need ZT Hyperstrike to do a Veil. You can get by on, not the Vito one, the Lavin one. You can get by. I get by just fine. It's not like the most necessary required thing, and it's 13 drain. You don't necessarily need to use 13 drain. Save, oh god. Save 5, okay fine, save 5 drain, which I guess is not a lot, but save 5 drain, you can put something else on. Save 5 drain, get rid of heatsink. Okay, this is the difference. Z-Key Hyperstrike does 121%. Lavin Hyperstrike only does 76%. Okay, fine. We're losing about, what is that, a third? Half extra damage. Let's get the calculator out. Here's the calculator. So when your weapons are doing 121% extra damage, you're doing... Sorry, no, let's start with Lavin. No. Yeah, let's start with Lavin. So when you've got Lavin, you're doing 1.76 times the damage. We're trying to figure out what is the overall proportion between using the Lavin Hyperstrike and the Z-Key Hyperstrike. When you use a Z-Key Hyperstrike, you're effectively doing 2.1? So, your Lavin Hyperstrike is effectively giving you 80% of the damage that your Z-Key Hyperstrike is giving you. So, for that extra 21% effective damage, you're telling me that you absolutely need to use 5-hole drain on an already rather small reactor. Trust me. If you can fit it, fit it. If you can't, it's fine. You'll be okay. Actually, having a Hyperstrike Avionic, yes, that is probably 100% necessary. I've tried running around without even the Lavin one. It sucks. It sucks not having one on. So, you should definitely have at least the Lavin one on. Definitely. But, you do not necessarily need to have the Z-Key Hyperstrike. That I completely disagree.
Like, these items, these like less than 2% drop rate items, are going for hundreds of platinum. And you kind of need to pay that if you want your Railjack to do any damage. Because your other alternative is to farm for a sub 2% drop rate, which is not good.
Or just not use it.
But yeah, that's like kind of where Railjack is right now. But it really just comes down to the numbers ruining this update for me. Like, it's very obvious that it's come to the point where, like, the solution for farming intrinsics that a lot of people have come to is just basically finding a way to do the Adaro farm, which is not Railjack.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. I'm just done. Also, real quick on the Space Adaro farm. Yeah, okay, if you want to do it, do it. But honestly, that kind of says to me that, like, people are in a rush to finish all of their intrinsics. Why? You finish your intrinsics. Wow, congratulations. What's next? You're just gonna sit there for about half a month at least. You're gonna sit there for a while and be like, well, I kind of just super grinded through all of the intrinsics and now there's nothing to do. I say take your time. They're gonna be there forever. Your intrinsics are still there. Everything is still there. I don't rush. I'm 8788 at the moment, and I am not really feeling much of a need to do any Space Adara farm. whatsoever. No rush. Anyway, that's an hour and a half. I'm not gonna get back. So, yeah. Hope this gives you a rough idea about what I feel about Railjack. I am of the camp that it's actually pretty good. Can use some changes here and there, because there are definitely things that Brozime didn't bring up that I think are big problems. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, if there are any points that I have made that you think are just flat out wrong, let me know. We can discuss this further, and I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. You know? Anyway. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. I think I just said that. Anyway, if you, for whatever reason, like this video, hit that like button. If for whatever reason you don't like this video, hit that dislike button. Makes sense. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more WarFrame content. I'm really botching this ending. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.